Hello paper crafters, welcome to another Design with Jo video. I'm Jo of designwithjo.ca and you can find lots of ideas on my blog. Today we're going to make this pretty butterfly card and I'm going to show you how you can turn any type of die-based stamp pad into one that you can emboss on. We're also going to emboss on the wings of our butterfly. So let's get started. So this is what you're going to need. You're going to need a die-based stamp pad, and the classic Stampin' Pads from Stampin' Up! Are die-based, meaning that they'll dry really quickly. You're going to need a Versamark pad, you're going to need a stamp, and you're going to need some cardstock. We're using Very Vanilla. You're also going to need embossing powder. I've got a nice big vat of clear embossing powder here, and you're going to need your heat gun. So the order that you do this in is actually fairly important. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you have a very clean stamp. So make sure it's nice and clean, and then you're going to ink up your Versamark with your Versamark pad. Okay, it's a little bit sticky, so hold it down with one hand while you ink it up. And then you're going to take it and put it right into your die-based. And I'm just going to get a little bit of ink on there. And it is sticky still, so hold that down as well. And then you're going to stamp onto your piece of Very Vanilla. And I am going to go off to the right because I want to create a banner with this on the left. So stamp it down and lift up. And then you're just going to sprinkle it with clear embossing powder. And we're going to heat that up with our heat gun. When you're embossing, as soon as it starts to turn shiny, move on. You can actually easily burn your embossing into the paper, and you don't want to do that. So that one's fairly shiny. I don't know if you can see that, but it's pretty shiny. And so now let's emboss our butterfly wings. So I've already cut out my butterfly. This is the Butterfly's Thinlits dies, and I'm using the medium-sized butterfly. And all we're going to do is we're going to take the edges and we're going to put that into our Versamark pad. Just press it down a little bit. And we're done with the Versamark, and you can just sprinkle a little bit of clear embossing powder onto the wings where that embossing Versamark pad is. Okay, and then you might want to grab, I've got a pair of tweezers here. You might want to just grab something so that you don't have your fingers in there. And then you're just going to emboss that. Okay, so we're done. You can probably see the nice shine on the edge, and it just adds a little bit of depth to the wings of the butterfly because it makes it look a little bit darker. So we're done with our embossing powder, and we're actually done with our stamp pad as well, so you can move those off to the side. And now we're going to make our card. So I have a piece of pink pirouette that is 4 1/4 by 11, and I've scored it at 5 1/2. So fold that in half and give it a nice crisp edge with your bone folder. The orientation for this card is going to be this way. And I have a piece of sweet sugar plum, and it is 4 by 5 1/4, so that will give you a really nice border on the outside edge. And I have a piece of Very Vanilla that is 3 3/4 by 5. Again, that will give you the same amount of border. And then we're going to turn this piece into a banner. So I really love the triple banner punch, and it's made for 3 different sizes of paper, but you can actually use a variety of different sizes. And I always use this punch, and most of my punches, upside down. So I'm going to put in my piece, and I do want to put it so that I can see my words. Just in case I've made my piece of paper too short, then I'll see whether I'm actually going to cut out my words, but I'm not going to. So I'm going to punch that out and create my banner. And this piece of Very Vanilla, sorry, I should have told you, the Very Vanilla is 1 by 3 5/8, or it was, and the Sugar Plum is 1 1/8 by 3 7/8. So you're going to put this one in. This one is not going to fit exactly into the groove, so you're going to need to just hold it in place. And this is where it's really important when you look at it upside down. You want that as much as possible to be in the center. So you're going to play with it a little bit until you are happy with where it is. And I'm not quite happy yet. There we go, that's a little bit better. So that looks pretty much in the center. So what I do is I just hold my fingers a little bit together so that the paper doesn't move anymore. And then I can take my other hand out and I can punch. So now what we should have done is been able to create a banner that fits almost in the middle with a beautiful banner. Whoops, and then we want to go like this. Okay, my banner actually needs a little bit more on the edge, but it's pretty much glued down. So we're going to go with what we've got. So I've got a little bit more on this edge, but it's not so noticeable that it's going to be really unsightly. So I'm going to go ahead and put a couple dimensionals on there. And I'm going to butt that up with the sweet sugar plum. And for my butterfly, I'm going to use a glue dot. So I want to get a little bit of glue, go to the end here, a little bit of glue just on the body. And I want his wings to actually have a little bit of dimension up. And I'm going to have him going this way. And then I'm going to take my paper piercing tool and I'm going to pick up some tiny little pearls, basic pearls. And I'm going to put 3 on his body. And that just finishes them off. And there you've created a card. So you have your embossing down here, so it creates some nice texture. And you also have some embossing here so that you have a little bit of shadow. So I hope you enjoyed this card. If you liked the video, please like it down below and share it with your friends. And then come back and see more ideas at www.designwithjo. Have a great day.